Welcome to Secret Talks. I'm your host, Michaell Magrutsche, here with Dr. Joen Painter and Hilary F. Brown. We are certified personal coaches that let you listen in on our private master sessions, where we discuss topics that come up with us or our clients. Episode 403, Manage and Understand Your Spiritual Growth, Part 3. How to handle your spiritual awakening and its shifts. Hello, ladies.
Hello, Michaell. Hi, Hilary.
Hey.
Hi, Michaell.
Today we want to talk about enlightenment and spiritual awakening.
Yeah, I think most people wonder what it is. What does that mean?
It's variance and understanding what happens, because there's a lot of misunderstanding out there, especially where people that study spirituality think there must be something, a switch that switches over, or a flash of consciousness, and everything is different. It's interesting because I hear more and more spiritual leaders that say we are too evolved for religions or one spiritual leader or one spiritual group or one guru to find our spirituality, which we talked in our first episode. Spirituality is your individual relationship with God, or pure source, or God is all that is, or whatever you like to see as the highest form of being. It resonates with me that there is no such thing as a religion or a guru or one spiritual teacher. It's whatever resonates with you to get you to that feeling good, to be alive, feeling in touch with your reality.
Being connected to the source.
Exactly. Being connected to nature, being connected to everything. So you're part of, and at the same time you're an individual. I think to look at that being a part of and at the same time separate, and so you're an integral part of this world. You're unique, and at the same time you're part of the whole, and everybody is valuable. So we talked first about, what is spirituality, why you have spirituality, and it should be easy. In a second, we talked about how do you get to be spiritual, what is the feedback of being spiritual, and this episode is about your awakening.
Like, how do I know if I'm in a spiritual awakening need or need spirituality?
This is a great question. I think there is no such thing as predicting it. It just happens. Life happens when you're not looking, but you see the effects. You never see the change, but you see the effect. When you think about back and you say, you know what, I always did this, or I always had problems with this, and all of a sudden it disappeared. Or I never had these problems, all of a sudden I have these problems, which that's what we actually register, most of us. We register when stuff doesn't work. We hardly register when things actually start working. Because you don't need to give attention of what doesn't work. You realize that anyway. Is there anything else to say to that, Joan?
I think that that's part of the spiritual awakening, too, when you say, how do I know I need it or something? You always heard about people who said, I'm not going to this church anymore, or I'm not going to go listen to this person anymore because they're not resonating with me. And you get people who try to say, you can't leave a place just because you don't like the person who speaks. And I disagree with that. I think that you do go where you need to resonate with the person who's speaking or with the teachings that you're studying. And I think that's a lot of the personal awakening and also a lot of personal growth.
That is a symptom of it. You mean, if I'm changing or if I can't get anything out of this teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we said in spirituality number 1 and 2, it's like a person. Why would you be friends with someone when you feel bad afterwards, when you are not fulfilled, when you're more stressed than before you went out with a friend? A friend should be an empowering and joyful experience. Obviously, you have disagreements, but in general, the friendship is a good one or a bad one.
And that's the same with the spiritual development.
Spirituality. We want to always bring you to that. Really feel it out. Really feel if you have to force yourself to go to church, to read this book of the new spiritual leader just to catch up. There were times where I had to read every damn book that came out just to be a part of the spiritual community. And I have given that up. If I feel something resonates, and I'm interested in this teacher, in this lecturer, in this person, in this religion, in this movement, I listen to it, study it, I feel it, what's providing, and then I move on, or I stay a while, absorb that knowledge, and then move on. The spirituality is never a stagnant place.
That's a really good point. It's never a stagnant place, and you don't always have to be in the same place, because if you are in the same place, you may not be growing at all.
Exactly. Spirituality is not like a person, so you're just dumping all these people, but generally you do that anyway, because if you have nothing to say to a person anymore, you either leave that person, you leave that friend, or you guys get in a fight, you just end it.
And sometimes I like to go and do different spiritual activities, not related to each other yet. What does that make me? Just generally spiritual?
Yeah, Hillary, that is perfect. We are living in a world of duality. I highly recommend people listen to other podcasts about spirituality. I don't want them to listen just to us because it fulfills them. It makes them see the contrast. And actually, it will help you make a decision if we are valuable or if you're not. To wander from one to another is actually a real good thing. I think we are so evolved as humans. We can't just go and say, you know what, I'm limiting myself to one person to get all my information. We are hooked in the world through Google and the web. On the other hand, in spirituality, we want to be arcane, and I'm a Christian, I got to stay with that, or I'm Jewish, I got to stay with that. It just doesn't make sense as much as you think it does. We have become too evolved and too smart to need religion to connect us with God. We say religion is the kindergarten of spirituality because it kind of gives you a very general view of spiritual structured practices. I'm not against religion because religion does sometimes do a good thing. I don't see the advantage of being with a religion that especially doesn't cater to you. If you feel good if in this religion, you need to stay in this religion till you don't feel good anymore, and then you move on.
And it might not be just that you're not feeling good. It could be just that you feel stagnant or that you're not growing in the direction you want to be growing. So it's not just about feeling good. It's about, I know that I need to be challenged more. I need to be learning more.
If you go on Sunday to church, you don't know where else to go. That is for your social life, but it is not your spirituality. You don't feel the awakening. And the awakening, we said, it's what you feel afterward. If you don't feel that you're awakening, it's fine to going socially. Tell yourself the truth. The one big part of spirituality is becoming conscious. Be conscious what your thoughts are, what you're feeling, how you fit into this world or life. To be honest to yourself. I'm going on Sunday to church because I want to hang out, see if I can date somebody. That's all fine. A social community is great. It's like going to a bar. You know everyone.
Right. Some people use church as the way to date. That's good.
There's a common interest in religion.
Common interest, yeah.
And are you growing in this environment? Are you becoming more self-aware? Do you feel comfortable being you? One thing of spirituality is you feel more and more comfortable of being yourself. If you have that, then by all means, go for a religion. Do both. Do religion and read a book about a spiritual leader. Or there's a million podcasts, YouTube videos on spirituality, which is so great because you can go through them. That makes me feel good. Awakening, that's happening to Hillary, and it must happen to me, and I see the light. Seeing the light is not a switch that you switch on. It's a dimmer that goes slower and slower, more light. And you realize over time where you have been and where you are. And all of a sudden you see, I know I can still turn that dimmer and make it lighter. And that's what I think is the awakening. It's not something that you need to go to a certain point and then it pivots over and you are awakened. Enlightenment comes gradually like a dimmer. Looking at your life, looking where you want to go, see how much you are awakened. When I went through cancer, I was this before, and I am now really aware of my body. So there was an awakening even in something what society considers as negative. I think that makes it pretty clear. Is there anything else, Joan?
I'm wondering, many times people have said, I woke up and I was just like, oh my goodness, I haven't been living my life right. And all this came pouring through to me. And they'll see that as an awakening. And that was a sudden event. However, that sudden event really wasn't truly the awakening. That sudden event was the knock on the door that said, hey, there's more out there for you to look at and to search through. And so I think that needs to be a little bit clarified as far as when people say, but I woke up and I realized this, or I was at this store, or I was with these friends at this place, and I realized, oh my goodness, something's not right in this picture, because they start seeing and feeling things. That sudden part of that event is the gradual beginning of that awakening.
It's a gradual awakening where you release the bow. The pivot point built up enough momentum. Now, I can't deny it anymore.
Right.
I can't deny it anymore that
I can't deny that I'm different and that I'm feeling these things that are questioning where I'm at or what I'm doing.
Exactly. A misinterpretation of awakening. Yeah, that was the switch in your consciousness where you couldn't deny it anymore. But you couldn't have that realization if you wouldn't have slowly
evolved, yeah.
Your awakening went all the way to this point, and then boom, then you couldn't just say, no, that doesn't exist. I think this was an interesting talk about awakening and enlightenment, which is kind of the same thing. Am I correct?
I think so.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to our next episode, number 404, Manage and Understand Your Spiritual Growth, Part 4, Side Effects of Spiritual Awakening. Physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual shifts that happen while you awaken, while you get enlightened.
I think the shifting thing is so important because people are constantly shifting and freaking out, so we need to talk about it.
Till next time, thanks so much. Goodbye, ladies.
Bye.
For more information, go to michaelm.com. That's Michael with double L, michaellm.com. On the upper right-hand side, click on Wellness Team. If you like this show, please pay it forward by sharing it with your friends and like it. Thanks to my colleagues, Hilary F. Brown at hilaryfbrown.com and Dr. Joen Painter at drjoen.com. I'm your host, Michaell Magrutsche. Thanks for listening.